Hi, everybody. Thanks so much for coming to our booth talk. I'm Jody McDermott. I lead telecommunications globally for Deloitte. And last June at the TM Forum's Ignite conference, we launched our Agentic AI blueprint for telcos. And our aspiration was really to help telecommunication operators move the needle from an AI perspective, from an agentic AI perspective specifically. I'm joined with some esteemed colleagues, Ricardo from NOJ, Guy from the TM Forum, and George from Deloitte. So let's just jump in. We've only got 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay. So speaking of moving the needle, which was our aspiration at Deloitte, Guy, you've been in your role 12 months as TM Forum's global head of the data and AI mission. You've assembled 350 champions globally from telcos with a nice coaching network of coaching support. Finally, you have some leverage. What patterns are emerging as operators work to operationalize agentic AI across the business?
Operationalization is key. That's the word. I want to start with that one. Is really important. Like first, you must focus on operationalization. So, what I can see emerging in the patterns in the members are model consumption. Models are the lifeblood of agents. There's no AI and there's no revolution without the models. That's what separates an agent from an application in a way. Model consumption, getting multiple models, as you might have heard in this conference already, SLMs, benchmarking, how to bring all these models into one place, give procurement control, and service them into the agentic at scale. That's pattern number one, and that's key. We've released a pattern called MODAS, Model as a Service. The industry is very busy doing that. Second pattern is data. We absolutely see an emerging of the concept of data product. It's still forming, but there is a definite pattern to go. I do not want to do a data project per agent. If I have 1,000 agents tomorrow, is this 1,000 data project? So I'd say these two are the two most emerging. The last one that will come is interaction security, but this is yet to come. We will see it coming.
Okay. Interesting. Thank you, Guy. George, maybe I can ask you Guy has such purview globally, in the industry. From your perspective, what's the hardest to transform if you think about enterprise AI at scale? Would you say kind of architecture and infrastructure, operating model, or mindset?
Oh, I love a multiple choice. So I mean, they're all difficult, right? If you take architecture for a start, agentic is so nascent. And therefore it's moving at such a pace. Being able to define your architecture right now is difficult. But of course, your agents have to live somewhere. It's quite quick and easy to build agents, but how are you going to govern them? Where are you going to have your security protocols, privacy, etc. So architecture is difficult. Your op model, goodness me, we're going to move to a world whereby you've got human workforce and agentic workforce harmonizing, orchestrating together. How's that going to come together? That will take a bit of effort to define that. I would also add in data as well, actually, what you were mentioning there, right? That's a challenge also. However, if you don't have the right mindset and that change mindset, then actually it's going to be pointless. You can have the best architecture, you can have the best op model, but if you don't have the will of your organization behind it, then you're going to struggle to progress.
So I'm hearing the chips are on mindset, kind of people and culture.
Yeah,
that's where the chips are.
I chose C.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Ricardo, thank you so much for joining us from NOJ. And so, you were faced with a lot of strategic choices on your AI journey at NOJ. Maybe you can help us understand, what helped NOJ decide where to focus and what problem to try to solve first.
Yeah. So AI and agentic AI is part of NOJ organization strategy. So we start quite a long time with the internal program with board sponsorship. So board sponsorship is always, I think, quite important to kickstart a new technology, projects in a new technology. So in terms of working on the use cases and focusing on what we are working first, we were very pragmatic. So we start working on legal, for example, areas as legal and customer services, where the the business case is more clear, and the complexity is manageable, and it's easy to have quick and measurable results. Now we are working we are working more on the domain network. Domain network is much more strict in terms of requirements, much more demanding environment, and working or trialing testing the AI agentic AI blueprint. I think it's a good accelerator, and we are working together on the deployment of 2 use cases and are working quite well. So thank you for invitation.
Wonderful. Thank you for the plug on our blueprint. That was well done. Guy, from what you're seeing across operators, what do you think is differentiating those that are more moving towards enterprise-wide transformation from those remaining more in, I guess we could call it isolated deployments?
I think we've heard the actual answer from my two colleagues here. Mindset and network engineering. The actual differentiator would be the engineering practices. And I'll give you an example. You can benchmark models, you can play with models, you can run models in a lab. But what does it mean to take a model and put it on every desk? When we did this with video, if you remember, one day there was a day there weren't video calls, there was just a video in the lab. And then we've gone through the journey of putting a video on every desk. That was the easy part, saying that. We had to buy equipment, upgrade the network. There was jitter, latency, performance, authentication. I don't want to start. I will keep more than 15 minutes. Might I say that the same mindset has now have to come to models? Models have to actually go at scale. They will need to be served, managed, procured, and so forth. Those who are serious about it will be having an engineering mindset to actually get it done.
Thank you. And Ricardo, if I can come back to you for a moment. So looking at your journey so far, can you share some of the lessons that you've learned? And maybe to add to that, is there anything that you would change or do differently from what you've done to date?
Yeah. So in fact, we were early adopters. We are working in AI for quite a long time. And but looking at more into the agentic and the agents, I think if we start again, probably what we start earlier is probably evolving to the implementation of data mesh. Data is essential, and data mesh it's critical, but also very difficult to implement in an organization. So, and need to be quite aligned with the agentic program. Otherwise, data is not going to fuel the use cases. So I think it's one of the areas where we probably will change, I think.
So you would have accelerated that in your journey, gotten focused on the data mesh a little bit earlier.
Yeah. And
future speed?
Yeah, because data architecture, or maturity of data architecture, I think is crucial. In terms of how much we can speed and scale the use cases. Yeah. If they are not quite implemented, also data maturity, also with exposure of that data over APIs or MCPs nowadays for agents. Otherwise, we are not able to scale the use cases internally.
Oh, that makes sense. George, maybe I can come back to you. So you've been working with many clients with our Agentic AI Blueprint for Telcos. Can you share with us how that has helped close gaps that we've discussed here?
I think there's a few things. Probably the first thing I would say is that it's been really helpful in explaining just the enormity of the impact in front of a client and have ragged across it, where the impact will be. And there's nowhere there's no impact. You know what I mean? So being able to show that end to end and top to bottom and bottom to top impact, from levels 1 down to as far as you want to go, I think it's really opened up our clients' eyes in terms of there's an awful lot to do here, and we best get going. And then when you then say, right, well, where do you want to start? I think what's been fascinating is that no two clients typically are starting at the same place. You're looking at network ops, we've got procurement, we've got credit risk, we've got fraud, we've got finance, we've got MI, we've got, I mean, you name it. There's different areas that our clients are starting with. But the beauty of the blueprint is that it not only, you know, helps you focus on where to start, but then also gives you a real acceleration in terms of, you know, not only defining your as is, but your to be process as well, and really getting going and providing the impetus and the confidence to move at pace.
It was interesting. You did a talk with VMO2 here yesterday, and I recall, so you're working with VMO2 on credit risk, you know, fraud and collections, and I recall Penny saying what was really value add for her was that her team could see what the future could look like.
Yeah.
You know, typically it's easy to create within the box or the lines that you know, sometimes harder to imagine what a future could look like that you haven't yet experienced. And so I found it interesting that she mentioned it accelerated her team's acceptance of what the future could look like as well.
Yeah.
And kind of nicely comes back to the people and culture buy-in and acceptance, right?
And just if I come back in, actually, just one thing that's really nice that we see is when you know you are sort of opening up people's imagination and understanding what the art of the possible is when people think, oh my goodness, there's so much that we aren't able to do at the moment because we're resource constrained. We can have an army of co-workers here doing all these things that we just can't get round to at the moment. So, and that's amazing.
Yeah.
You want to add something there?
No, I'm going to say that I really think people is key. So upskilling of workforce, so mindset, also the way how we work, internal culture in the organization is going to be key, because, and the guy I think talk about that is AI and agents are all about trust, and we have to have people working with the agents, to trust the agents, to collaborate with agents. So I think people is going to be key internal on the organization.
Okay, well, we did say that 15 minutes was not going to be that much time, but I do have maybe one final question for each of you. So what is one decisions that operators cannot afford to delay if they are serious about scaling agentic AI? And George, maybe we'll start with you.
I'm going to be really simple and just say, get going. Got to get moving.
Get on it, right?
Yep.
And Guy, what about you?
I would like to say trust, and I would like to say the following and leave everybody with this. You cannot go and build a multi-billion-dollar race car, train 3 drivers for 3 years, and don't trust the drivers when the race comes. That's how you lose it. So trust.
Trust the driver.
Yes.
Okay, I like that one, Guy. And Ricardo?
I'm going to say people. So working on the culture to trust. And data also, of course, cloud, a lot of things, but people is going to be critical.
That's wonderful. Okay, so get started, whatever the start line is, dovetails nicely into the start line of a race where a very trusted driver is going to be driving a multi-billion car.
Yeah.
And you got to trust the crew around them.
Yeah, without people, we are not going to be able to deploy.
Wonderful.
That's how you win a race.
Construct the car.
That's how you win a race.
Awesome. Okay, thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it. And thanks everybody for coming.
Thank you.
Yeah.